Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about return statement in functions. So functions can return a value using the return statement. The value returned can be stored in a variable for further use. Let me illustrate it with an example. So here I'm having a function called add. To declare this add function, I'm using the def keyword, and in parentheses, I'm having two parameters or arguments. They are separated by a comma. The first one and the second one. The first one is called A and the second one is called B. Whenever we call this function is going to return A plus B. Okay, so this function is going to add the first number and the second number that are passed to this function by doing this line return A plus B. So let me show you how I'm calling this function. Now when I call this function, I'm having a variable called result, and this result variable equals the result of this function, the output of this function equals this result variable. So I'm calling the add function. So I'm typing down the name of the function. Then in parentheses, I'm having two numbers and they are separated by a comma, 3 and 5. So 3 is going to be equal to A because this is the first parameter or argument that is passed to this function. And 5 is going to be set to B because this is the second argument that is passed to this function, and B also is the second argument. So I'm calling the add function and I'm passing 3 and 5. And when I'm calling this function is going to return a value for me. It is going to return the value A plus B for me. And A plus B equals 8. So the output of this function is going to be assigned to my result variable here. So 8 is going to be stored in the result, and now I'm printing out the result. So when I have the output, when I run the code, I see that when I'm printing the value of result, I see 8 in the output. I can have, for example, a new variable called x equals add, and then I'm having 2 and 2. I can have y add 5 and 6, for example. I could have z equal add, for example, x and y. And in the output, I would like to have the result of x, then x, print the result of y, then print y, and then finally I want to show the result of z and have the z here. So what I'm doing here is that, again, like the result variable, I'm declaring three new variables, x, y, and z. I'm calling the add function, asking the function add to perform the a plus b with two numbers, 2 and 2. So when I call this add function, the first 2 is placed for the a, the second 2 is placed for the b, and a plus b is going to be returned when I'm having this line, and the result of the return, the output of the function is going to be stored in x. So I expect the value of x will be 4. Then I'm calling the function another time and assigning the result to variable y. And when I'm calling the function, I'm having 5 and 6. So 5 is A and 6 is B. 5 plus 6, the result is 11. So I expect to have the 11 for the y. So 11 is the output of this function, and this is going to be assigned to variable y. And then I'm calling the function one more time, this time with the variable x and variable y, and they are previously taken two values. So I expect the result will be 15 because x is 4 and y is 11. So x is now placed for the a and y equals b. So 4 plus 11 equals 15. So when I run this code, I see the result of x. So here also I'm printing out the output of x, y, and z. The result of x equals 4, which we expected. The result of y equals 11, which we expected. And the result of z equals 15, which we expected. So this is how we can have a return statement in a function to give us some output of the function, and we store that output in, for example, certain variables for further use here. And also we learned how functions can be useful, because now I'm performing this line of code a plus b one time only, but I'm using it 4 times in my code. Instead of typing down these mathematical operations 4 times, I'm just calling it with different parameters. So it is much easier to have a function to do the job for us, and we have different part of the code where we call the function to do that job for us. So we don't have any repetition. We are having the mathematical operations being written only once. This is how it can reduce the amount of code that you're going to write, and this is how it is going to improve the readability of your code, because you're typing down the operations one time, but when we are going to have like 10 times of this operation, instead of having it 10 times being repeated in the code, and it would be not very easy to read, it would be hard to follow. Okay, another time I'm having for example, a plus b, another time I'm having 2 plus 2, 5 plus 6, x plus y, etc. Instead of having these, I'm just calling the function, and the code is being reused several times, and it is being written one time only. So this is how useful the functions are in Python. In the next videos, we're going to dive deeper into this concept. Thank you for watching.